We travel a bit further north and meet up with Michiel. His story gets mixed up with the history of gaming itself, from a job at Nintendo all the way to the pilot seat by making his very own video game.
My name is Michiel. I'm almost 50 years old. I'm from the Netherlands. I live in Lelystad currently. I do a variety of things. I'm a freelance content editor, content manager. I also am a podcaster, mainly about video games and arcade games. And I also am a video game developer. When I met my friend Hans at Nintendo of Europe, we started a game development studio together. We started working on a prototype for a game. I was already living in the Netherlands, closer to Amsterdam at the time. And Hans was, of course, in Heidelberg, where he lives. So we started working at a distance.
My name is Hans. I am 43 years old. I've been living in Heidelberg for the last 22 years with a couple of interruptions. It's my favorite city in Germany. I've been in Japan for a couple years in between. I met my friend Michiel in Frankfurt, actually, where he was working at Nintendo, and I did an internship there. You know, we had a similar taste in games. That was a big one, but also just he's a lovely person. Don't tell him that. Schildmaid MX is a retro-inspired, but not really retro, side-scrolling, horizontal scrolling shmup. It's similar to very old shmups. Michiel came up with the core idea for Schildmaid, a central mechanic that is pretty different from a lot of shmups.
It's a game that sort of asks the player not to dodge the bullets, but to fly into them and start collecting them until their shield wears off, and then they have to start dodging before they can reset their shield again. We built the game in Unity. Well, Hans did mostly because he's the programmer. He built sort of like an editing environment for me in there in which I could start designing the levels of the game.
So this is the first stage of the first loop, right? So it's the very first thing. You see the enemies coming in from the right and from the top, and some of them fly in like formations. Like these guys fly in this parabola curve around the screen. And this is all stuff that Michiel did in his level editing.
If I click on one, for example, I see like where its coordinates are. I can change that. I can also just move it around and put it in another position. The way we built Schildmaid MX is basically everything exists in various loops. So every stage, when you enter a new loop, has different layouts and different stage hazards, different enemies appearing.
The x-axis actually determines when they spawn in. So these are the first enemies that spawn in, and towards the end, these are the last ones, ending with the boss.
Just to show you how quickly you can change something and then immediately test it, I'll do something very stupid. I'll copy this end of stage boss. I'm going to put him at the start of the stage as well, fairly early in, and then we should be able to see this boss appear in the middle of the stage all of a sudden. Yeah, there he is. Just appearing in the middle of the stage. This seems a bit stupid to put an end of stage boss in the middle of the stage, but it's just an example of how quick and easy it is to just change stuff and experiment with it and change things up.
All of these layouts, Michiel or any designer could edit on their own. They don't need somebody technical to do that for them. So if you want to move one of those asteroids, right, you just select them and move them. It's as simple as it gets. So as you're seeing from Michiel, he's working within the same framework. He's also working within Unity. I made the tools for him, and then he used the tools and gave the results back to me. That's the main way how he was able to give his ideas shape, and I made the tools to enable him to do that, basically.
It's very much inspired by the very first side-scrolling shooter that I ever played on the NES, which is called Gradius. Like a lot of the basic patterns and enemy designs are based on Gradius, because I felt like it's better to start at the beginning, start at the basics.
There's this thing, right? You remember retro games looking in a certain way, but actually they didn't look that good. So we're going for that a little bit. Looking retro, but in a more high-tech way that was actually possible.
The music was composed by a Canadian composer called Ed Tremblay, and he cranked it out very fast, like the first few themes. And it was so good, in fact, that we felt like we had to step the graphics up as well to match the music.
I think I was playing Contra or something that has a end of stage jingle type of thing, like the victory fanfare. I contacted Ed and said, "Hey, we want to have a victory jingle at the end of the stage," and he just made that in like a day or two, which is crazy to me.
When we were exhibiting at Tokyo Game Show, Hiroki Maruyama appeared on the scene, but we didn't know it was him. I knew the name, and I'm a big fan of this man's games, but I never saw a picture of him. And he started playing our game, and then Hans was standing next to him, and he was saying, "So, do you like STGs? Do you like shoot 'em ups?" And he said, "Oh yeah, I've made a few myself." And then I was poking Hans like, yeah, it was an immense moment. He was giving us compliments on our game. He really liked it. Still one of the coolest moments of my life, really. One of the most exciting things about making a game is that realization that you're adding to the history of the medium with something. You create something that might be meaningful to some people. That is a big thrill.
Yeah, it's just an amazing feeling having your own game on some actual proper gaming hardware. Yeah, Michiel wanted to have scan lines in the game.
One of our testers, a guy in Japan, he was also pushing like, yeah, why don't you guys make a CRT filter for the game? And I think Hans was less enthusiastic about the idea, but he was thinking, oh, if we do this, I want to do it properly.
I didn't see the point because, contrary to him, I'm not a hardware purist. He kind of insisted on wanting to have that because he likes that style and likes to see scan lines and screen curvature.
So he started studying CRT technology and how to break up red, green, and blue values.
We came to the compromise that I would look into the tech of building proper scan lines.
Make it not like a CRT filter, but more of a CRT emulation.
It was more like, okay, we're going to do it, but we want to do it properly. We're not going to do a simple overlay or reducing the color on every second line or something like that, but actually do pixel simulation. And that looked cool. I'm proud of it working in the way that we imagined it would.